You're listening to the Digital Deep Dive, where we tackle the newest trends, strategies, and pain points shaping growth across the digital landscape. From Amazon and D2C to international expansion, join our host and e-commerce leaders across multiple industries for in-depth discussions on how to maximize your brands in the digital arena. Now, here's your host, Aaron Conant.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Digital Deep Dive podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Conant, and we are back from a brief hiatus. I took some time off with the family, but then got a bunch of pings from listeners out there saying, hey, there's a bunch of more topics that they'd love to dive into. So we're back after about a month off, and then we'll be back at it for the next 11 months straight. So here we go. Super excited for the guest today, Scott Needham. We got connected a few months back. You had me on your podcast. And then we were just catching up around all things pricing, tariffs, impact, scenarios, competition, like everything that's going on in that space. And that is a hyper focus of what I've been hearing about. And I've been hearing a ton of scenario planning going on. And something that struck me was a lot of the scenario planning is internal focus. And by that, I mean there's only an internal bucket of data to pull from. And so super excited to get into the conversation today. But first, I'm going to kick it over to you. Do you want to do like a background on yourself,
Sure.
the company, all that cool stuff?
Yeah. I'll start here with what I thought I was going to be doing before I jumped into the Amazon world. I thought I was going to be the next engineer at Facebook or Google. I'd interviewed with both of them, and like during that time period, I looked over and my brother was like starting an Amazon selling business. And so, I don't know, something about selling stuff online and being like a business operator was a little bit more exciting than, I don't know, chasing a very cushy salary. But so I started selling on Amazon in about 2013. But when I say selling, I really mean like just like developing software and solutions for like, it was really just our business. And then fast forward 6 or 7 years, right before COVID, about a year before COVID, I was like, hey, there's actually a big ecosystem of brands, sellers, whomever. And I wanted to build for them and, I don't know, it feels kind of crazy that I'm still looking at the same Amazon product pages 12 years later and, trying to figure out interesting things about them. And so a few years ago, launched SmartScout, which is a market research category research software. And I've been at it ever since. And this might tee us up into the subject, like when the we kind of build what just is exciting. I don't know if we're not building accounting software because that's boring. So we want to create like cool, flashy analytics, big numbers. When the tariffs were announced early April, that next week, I experienced something that I was not like accustomed to. I probably had journalists from like major publications like Reuters or Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, CNBC. They all wanted to like learn, well, what's happening on Amazon. Amazon might be the cutting edge of where tariffs start to show their ugly head. And so journalists were like just pinging me like, hey, you have any data? You have any data? You have data? And like, we did provide some. Pointed out that like Anchor, the electronic company, like they're the first to like make a concerted effort in raising prices. And so that month in April, I talked about pricing a lot, and I was like, well, I want to build a solution that focuses on this. And so I'd always had this idea of like, you smash like 5, 10 products together and like, what's their pricing movements? And shoot, I've already like talked through like 12 years, but that's my background. That's my interest.
But you're really like, so you're developing it, a new product since April?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I would be honest in that we had a lot of the data available. So, and like it wasn't like we had to like reinvent the wheel. It was kind of just like a view of like, you know, if you wanted to figure out are tariffs like changing my, section, my competition, and just see it and you could share it. And the truth is, it may depend on your category. In general, not a lot of products raised prices. Yes, there was
I
like,
mean, that's
yeah,
something people need to know. So what I try to talk to 20 or 30 brands a week, right? And there was a big chunk of time that I would say 40% of conversations were led when I say, hey, what are the biggest things you're trying to solve for? If we're going to do a podcast or a webinar or even a
mhm,
dinner because a topic is big enough, what do you want us to cover? And their comment was, I'm spending all of my time doing scenario planning. Like, we don't know where the tariffs are going to end up. What's going to happen if we move product where we do move product. What's the new tariff there? And I said this just a little bit in the opening too, is that everybody was looking inward because that was the only data they had.
mhm.
And which is great. But when they go then to the executive team and they present, hey, this is a scenario, then they're given another scenario and another scenario. But just coming from corporate America, um, you know, my my leadership always looked a lot more like, well, what's the industry doing? And if I could point and say, nobody's raising prices, that's, I can get a lot more
Yeah,
strategic with what I'm doing, right? It's
yeah,
like, hey, I'm going
yeah,
to keep mine low as well, and we're going to take the impact, or hey, everybody's raising, I'm going to go try to grab margin.
yeah, yeah. In the 6 weeks before, from like when they announced it to like, I think the first major like China, US kind of like statement of like, hey, we're going to work together. Um, Only about 3% of products uh, changed prices and in a way that like was like, okay, this is an all-time high. And by the way that you heard conversations like in the news or whatever, you'd feel like it would be like, every product. So people did not want to raise prices.
And so
That was,
they're sitting back, not, I would agree with you. Like, everybody had this indication that they were going to,
yeah.
well, they had to a couple prices and two sides, right? They're trying to push through price increases to Amazon, but even on the one piece side, you're saying Amazon's not raising the prices. So they're like basically like, no.
Yeah. No
That,
one, no one, what's relevant when we had a few things published in these, news, like Amazon, every time would be like, SmartScout, what's your data? Like, show me what you guys reported to them. And we hand it over, and like, I'm like, there's nothing I'm ashamed of, like, because like I know what the price was on this date, and I know what the price is on this date, and like it is what it is. But Amazon doesn't want to be, they don't want to be the story about raising prices. It's kind of like if you remember when Walmart and Trump had a spat. Like Trump doesn't want prices to raise because it makes him look bad. No one wants to be like associated with raising prices, and so it was just like a really curious moment, and yeah, it brought forward like all these ideas, and I just think pricing is like, I don't know, it's exciting.
yeah, but so what I'm hearing then, essentially, then brands are eating the tariff, and
uh,
that's where,
yeah, or they had a lot of inventory, uh, and
okay,
they could sit on their hands, or they manufactured in the U.S. It really just depended
okay,
on things, and you know, uh, so much tariff avoidance was talked about, not like illegal avoidance that was there too, but like bonded warehouses or uh, uh, oh shoot, there's a variety of things that people could do, but a lot of people like were shipping just less units, waiting for
Right.
to get resolved and then, make
Yeah,
up for it on the back end.
exactly. Yeah. The decrease, smaller orders that maybe, maybe a third of what they normally were, because they don't, I mean, not everybody knows that when they hit the ports, that's when the tariffs are due, right? When they
Yeah.
land. And a lot of this, there's a direct debit out of the account. So if you're a larger, company, like you can sometimes absorb that with cash flow. If you're
Mhm.
smaller, that drains a bank account. And then you don't recoup that even if you can raise prices until you've actually sold through it. So then that's
Yeah.
the next phase. If you are raising prices, your flow through is going to be slower. And so
Yeah.
it was this weird game that I think all these scenarios were coming out of. And um, if prices aren't going up, that means, I guess, you are going to flow through your inventory probably at the same rate, but you're not going to make as much money, if any. On the flip side, which I don't know if you have any insight on this, is with Prime Day coming up, is there a way to see what brands are doing as far as discounts
Well,
and stuff like that?
we're gonna try and look into it, but we don't know until it happens. um, I think my opinion is that some of the abatement of the tariffs allowed enough brands to carry through some of their plans, and we'll see a healthy Prime Day. They've increased it to 4 days, which I actually think was a smart decision. Because so much social media talks about Prime Day. Well, social media has a 48-hour life cycle. You know, Uh, what if you get served? You see someone talking about deals, and you're like, oh, well, Prime Day was yesterday. So I think the 4 day will work in their benefit, but will brands be able to discount as much? It really depends on the category. I think some categories will stop and some will just be like, no, this is business as usual.
So you live in this space. Like, what are there particular categories that are growing? There's a lot of conversation around other marketplaces other than Amazon right now.
Yeah. Um, I just did an analysis for May, and saw that it experienced Amazon is trending like on average a product is are selling about 10% more than they were the previous May. And that's significant because the size of Amazon. Like Amazon growing 10% is like two TikTok shops worth of revenue that they just throw on top. Um, they're at a size where 10% growth is 30-40 billion dollars. And so, but absolutely, TikTok Shop and what it kind of represents is obviously really exciting. And I think, like you said, what are people talking about? It's that. If you're going to see a brand grow from 0 to 100 million, their off Amazon strategy is doing the heavy lifting. They have, TikTok Shop creators or influencers just promoting and talking about them, and they make it really exciting. Uh, uh, I could give a few call outs of I know 3 brands that have gone from 0 to 50 in the last 2 years. And it is definitely on the backs of short form video and kind of what that represents.
I mean, I agree. It's popping up all the time. The interesting thing is it's the larger brands that are hesitant, whether it's legal, whether
Mhm.
it's regulatory, that are sitting back and they can't pour into the creator content and or want to boost and or sponsor and or line up the affiliates or doing the affiliate fees. They're sitting back. And the traditional way, if you're a smaller startup, you don't care about any of that. You
Yeah.
just let it rip. But you're seeing that, are there multiple categories that these are popping up in? Because I see a lot, obviously, in the beauty space. Anything you can demonstrate, either putting on. So again, beauty makes a lot of sense. Or are
Mhm.
you seeing it across the board?
I was speaking with agency expert for TikTok shop, and like her favorite category is grocery because you can in a video take someone from like zero interest to like, I'll try that out. And you don't have to like pull out research claims, to get someone that like wants to take like a supplement or whatever, like that's a harder sell. So grocery is absolutely like a category that's like really exciting because it's fun. And like I'm not sure if you've seen anything about like this David bar.
Yeah.
Like they I get one of those three brands that have like gone from like 0 to 100. They've done it in the last 6 months. Just tremendous like growth. I think the top 10 protein bars on Amazon, they have like 4 of them.
Do you think it's sustainable, or are we going to go through brands faster?
I think David will find its spot. Will it be the all-time number one? No, it's not good enough.
But I mean, you think it's the incubator, but it's a common thing. It'll go back to like RX Bar, or Kind Bar, any of these get grow online and they get acquired for like $1 billion. And they were on Amazon direct consumer.
Well, David is the founder of David is the founder of RX Bar.
I did not know that. Yeah. But how about that?
Yeah. So there's a reason, like that's one of the main reasons I think like, they're 0 to like, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. But I mean, so I have done a lot of people, 2 things on TikTok, in TikTok shops is using this new full funnel advertising approach where it used to think Amazon separate from everything else and all the retail media and direct consumer. And now with all the releases and data within Amazon Marketing Cloud and what you're able to leverage and do, and jumpstarting the Amazon algorithm with influencers, or I would say affiliates that are micro affiliates that are driving traffic back, that you see this very interesting, you're launching a new product, micro influencers, kickstarting the Amazon algorithm, right? That you can then use, not only you're growing it on Amazon, brand awareness, but you're also able to use their DSP to drive back to your direct consumer site or ever you want, increasing popularity, which includes back on TikTok and TikTok shops.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting more complicated for the digital marketer. It just does.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm no longer in my 20s. Like the idea of just like engaging the feverish pitch of like whatever new service, new thing, like I think it appeals to like the young challenger brands and right. And then you see absolutely like a director of e-commerce and they're like later in their career would be totally overwhelmed by all. There's too many levers. Like retail media has exploded in a way that is just big. And on
the retail media side, I mean, we've had like Megan Caroon on. She's over at Clear Data. She's doing some awesome stuff for retail media measurement, incrementality as a whole. Super huge deep dive, because what I hear from brands is, I just want to know what's working. If you can tell me where it's working and where it's not, I'll pour money into it.
Yeah.
I just don't know, and I need to know. And if I can find it out, I'm going to dump money into those channels. It just so happens it's hard to determine which ones those are.
That sounds like an internet marketer through and through. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, just tell me,
But you haven't been able to forever, right? Until you've had this new, you have to have the machine power to crunch all the data, and the people smart enough to know where to plug everything in to gather the data and then program it to kick out the right stuff. All of that had to come together, and it just hasn't been here until the last like 18 to 24 months or so. Just It's crazy. I think they have more tools than ever before, but they're tasked with more, right? They're tasked with more, even to the point where normal TV commercials, everything's streaming TV now. It's not your traditional spray and pray, right? Streaming TV, those commercials are performance marketing, right? And so it's a completely different mindset of how you're going to handle a normal TV commercial. You might film the same one, or you might film 8
There's something interesting that I think you're kind of brushing around is like everyone wants like ROI or like performance out of every single channel. But one of the weird things that's happening with like TikTok Shop or these like these social affiliates is that consumers do something not trackable when they get served those videos. They leave one app and then they go to another app, Amazon, and then they type in David protein bar. And that, like, obviously you can track revenue, but knowing that, like, just like knowing which customer came from like TikTok versus like another source, like it's actually like an action that no one can like track right now.
Oh, right. Yeah. Which the only thing you can track is did something happen after an event?
But everyone right now, everyone knows that like that playbook works. They know that like if you could spin up this like creator economy, this creator like content on TikTok Shop, like it works. Like,
yeah, but I agree with you. The people want the instantaneous purchase. They want an immediate ROI on everything that's being done right now.
Yeah.
And I think that is the pendulum is swung, right? So, COVID hits and it's growth at all cost, right? And spend every dollar you have, even if it costs you $110 to acquire the customer for $100 spend. Okay, we'll keep growing it and spend it till we run out of money, essentially. And hopefully somebody buys us and we can show them the growth. And now that is, in that case, do everything branding all. And now that pendulum has come back, which is, and it's swinging really fast. Back.
But, there still is a space for like, call it brand marketing. Some of the marketing that, you don't know, but the brand is growing. I'm not saying that this is always going to be like that, but right now, a little bit of the TikTok Shop feels like it's there when you have so many impressions and views getting seen, and how then like on Amazon, an unrelated channel, an unrelated spend grows.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how many brands are comfortable. Everybody's asking about TikTok Shop right now. It'll be interesting over the next 6 to 12 months how many brands actually adopt the strategy. I think they see it there. I think we're far enough in that there's actually strategies that you can implement. It's just
how many people will go with it. Have you seen much about Mary Ruth's and their TikTok?
No.
So you know about Mary Ruth's, like they're definitely a darling child of the D2C like supplement space, and they're so into like TikTok. They now have a 24-hour TikTok Shop live feed. Like they've got someone selling on their main accounts 24 hours a day. So that's a brand that's like leaning in, and they are finding it ROI positive just having like such an ever-present connection on those channels. And they may not be there. They may not be there just for the sales that day. They may be there to like influence the next round of creators, being like, hey, here's how we do it. Go forth and do it yourself.
Did you see this? I don't know if it was on a LinkedIn feed that looped in. Like there was a company that had 2 avatars, like live streaming for like 24 hours straight. This was in China. And they got like 7 million in sales. and people didn't even know they were not interacting with people.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so they were AI?
Yeah. I mean, I have to pull it up. I
think I saw the image and I saw like the story kind of.
I'll have to go back and I just saw the headline this morning. Then I got it of the day, just while you were talking about the 24-hour live stream. It popped in my head. So I don't have all the details around it. I thought it was funny. Like people didn't even know.
I just I don't know. You have to be like the QVC type watcher that likes to like just like watch that stuff. I don't know if they're not funny or they're not entertaining. Like I'm bouncing.
Yeah, I have to limit my social media as a whole. That's what I have to do.
I mean, I do the same. Like I
get sucked in.
My wife, she's like, "Hey, look at that wedding." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'll download Instagram, look at like some wedding pictures, and then I delete it right after." And
yeah, yeah. I would say I've deleted it like 12 times this year because I'll put it back on because pretty much the exact same scenario.
I might be a little bit higher. I might be like, I don't know. Yeah,
because I'll think I can have it on, but I won't. I get totally sucked in, and then you're like doom scrolling, and you're like, "Well, I just." All of a sudden, it's now like it's 9:30, and all of a sudden it's 10:30 at night. You're like, "What the heck just happened?"
Yeah, yeah.
So, what are you most excited about? Like, number one, I mean, thanks for jumping into this tariff stuff.
Yeah, no,
and the pricing and all that stuff because it's incredibly. And you have a tool, right, that helps people see all this.
Yeah. We created like this pricing. We call it pricing intelligence. You take a dozen products and you can see market share over time. You can see coupons and deals over time as the pricing like fluctuates up and down. So
who do you compete with? Like who do you compete with?
On that front? I don't know anyone that does that. We imagined like, okay, so there's a few like repricers out there that are like for like private label brands.
Yeah.
And I was like, there are some people that are never going to use a repricer. They can't. Maybe they can't. Like maybe they're 1P. We wanted to give the person that does make pricing decisions, but maybe they're a little bit slower. Maybe they need to defend it to their colleagues in terms of like planning and like what's the tool that they would use. And so we just kind of envisioned that right there. We are adjacently competitive with like 50 tools. There's rarely do I see someone where we're like, oh my goodness, like we're like 1-to-1. There's some overlap. Shoot, even one of our biggest competitors, they have another product that like they'll be like, you could use SmartScout and us. You just use our other stuff. Like, there's definitely ways that we're never like fully overlapped. But
what are you most excited about in this space? It doesn't have to be the repricing space. It could be anything.
No,
Amazon.
No.
Yeah.
Good question. I like seeing US brands win in unique ways. I'm not joking. David Barr, that's exciting to me. I like just to see someone like just rocket ship and, clearly they did a few things right here or there. They got an investment and then they, I think they got sued during their investment period. Like they're just exciting, there's like almost like an Ozempic, like people that take Ozempic, like will, gravitate to their bars because of like the protein density is like the absolute highest. So that's exciting. I mean, any sort of innovation, like I'm the guy that shows up at a trade show and I'm like, I'm not talking to people. I want to like do like 50 demos in a day.
Yeah.
So
I love the floor. I love seeing all the news. I love the innovators row. You have like the newest tech, and they're all trying to like they're pitching their stuff like a Shark Tank type thing to maybe get some kind of small investment. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'd love that floor and walking around and seeing the new tech that's coming out, and it's fundamentally changing how people do it. I mean, I've been picking your brain for a while. Like, any questions you have for me?
Well, I mean, you're the one that talks to 20 or 30 brands a week. How do you do that?
I don't know. I love people. Um, I just love people. I love e-commerce. I mean, I think we chatted before. I started off as a chemist, right? And I mean, I was dying a little every day at the back of the lab by myself. Just we're making drugs for phase 1 and 2 clinical trials. I mean, it was cool. It was really cool stuff. Uh, and then, but I love people. And I got out of there. I started project manager in Paragon. I just took crazy projects, and then I had a crazy project for a direct consumer site and B2B, and then turned into Amazon. And then I found out that e-commerce is just a lot like chemistry. It's a scientific process that you can do over and over again.
Totally.
A lot of people just throw stuff up against a wall and see what sticks, which is a route you can go, but it's better if you pick the wall and you pick what you want to throw and how much of it, and you control the variables and then analyze what happens and see what sticks. It's a lot more rigorous, but just taking that, and so being able to use that problem solving piece to grow a business and then have all these touch points. And then,
yeah, you mentioned something about like entrepreneurship. Like that is really like, I don't know, like it's my 9 to 5 is like, who could I connect with?
mm-hmm.
Where's like there, a connection to be found. While I was a trained developer, I actually spend more of my time now just talking to people like yourself.
Yeah.
And then you work with a team. It's working in like this entrepreneurship with a team is just fun, and I don't envy the solopreneur that much. There is something about when you look back at like the different waves of e-commerce, and sometimes you look back, you're like, oh, if only I did like this. And I'm like, if only I started a retail media company in 2017. If only I started software in 2013 for other sellers, instead of waiting until 2020. Right now, the moment is like, if only I built this type of AI tool. In a few years, we'll look back and be like, well, duh, the answer was obviously this one. We're not quite there yet. It's not like brain dead obvious which part of the wave is gonna like be a seismic change.
Yeah, I think people sometimes forget in the AI space that you have to train it, and people don't even know how to train it. They're learning how to train it right now. And so we're in that. I totally agree with you. We're in this spot where there is AI and there is ML, and it's way better than it was before. And we're just now learning how to train the AI to learn. There are going to become experts in the people that do that. And there's going to be then experts in the prompting of it and how to use it. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that are going to win. But right now, I totally agree with you. We're still in the first inning. I mean, it seems like we're so much further down the line.
Something's going to happen. I bet you in like 3 years down, you're going to look back and you're like, well, this blew up. Oh my goodness. Why didn't I see that?
Yeah. The one thing that I think we will see, and other people that live in the digital space can see it if we go down it a little bit, is the LLMs, the personal shopping assistants, the chat GPTs or Perplexities or Claude or whatever it might be, Rufus, whatever you want to say, that they will take on a fundamental role as a personal assistant that most people would say, no. But I mean, if you can get to the point where you've trained your personal assistant on what you like and what you wear, and now your Gmail is plugged in, right? Your personal shopping email. So it sees everything you've bought for everybody, and it can help make product recommendations. And then now my buying path is through one of those rather than me going to Amazon. And that is going to be this fundamental shift that takes place of, will those route to Amazon because I've always ordered from Amazon, or will those be naturally routed someplace else? And it just goes to a trusted site that has a great price and guaranteed delivery, and Amazon loses importance over time. Because I go to Amazon because it's easy. Like, it's natural, right? My brain just goes there. I don't know if these LLMs will. That's yet to be seen, but the voice shopping piece, it's there. Like,
voice shopping. I think it's interesting what you said about the decoupling of like where you buy from. But I probably would love tailored recommendations of just like, okay, here's like a site and like 10 different like outfits that like the AI knows I'm probably gonna like. And then I'm not trapped in a like an Amazon.com curated box, but like, something custom made just for me. And you're like, 1, 2, 3.
There is, so like Charlie Cole, he was on a few episodes ago with XGen AI, where that's what they're doing with search. So you would actually go on to their webpage now. So not in the LLMs, but basically it's made search on the brand page rather than like, black t-shirt or black button-down shirt. You type in, I'm going to a wedding in Miami. My wife is wearing black. It's on these dates. Can you help me find the right outfit? And it goes and it doesn't look at tags on the back end. Like even these new like PIMs and DAMs, you don't have to tag everything correctly, because these can go in and look at the image, understand what it is, and then extract it back out.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Where it can actually make recommendations where everything breaks, right? You hate it when you type in black button-down shirt and socks show up or dress pants show up. Like, I don't need that. I need a shirt. Yeah. But the tagging's wrong. Fundamentally, this whole thing is, and how we order is going to be.
Yeah, there's going to be some shifts. And I hope I'm on the right side of some things. I like worry. I'm like, I don't know, what's, as you have all these LinkedIn influencers saying doom and gloom to like one category of like way that people do, they operate versus another. It's going to be tough to see how it all shakes out. But those experiences are definitely going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Well, man, we went way over. This is awesome. So it's been a blast, my friend. We'll have to do this again. Scott Needham from SmartScout has got what's the name of your podcast?
The humbly named, it's called The Smartest Amazon Seller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check out his podcast, find him on LinkedIn. If you need any of the resources, he's a great friend, partner, supporter of the network. Encourage everybody to go out, follow him, and and if you need help in any of those areas, for sure, look them up. But with that, thanks everybody for listening in. That's the end of this episode of the Digital Deep Dive. Thanks, everybody.